and be compatible.
It's awesome. Yes. And we would like to talk about, I'm going to look at the Zoom page because I can see you there. We are going to talk about bodies and communicating with bodies. As this is something that I learned a lot from you, Christiane, about different ways of communicating. And it's been really inspiration to me. And my body has been trying to call me out and say, she knows, she knows, she knows, she knows, she knows. Oh, go hang out with her. She knows. I have just not been listening very much. And my body has been, I want to yell really, really loud more than once in my life. And we can all talk about what really yelling really loud is. That's part of the communication. So I simply had to listen. I'm one of those, like, it seems very, very deaf people until I wasn't. So Christiane, can you talk a little about what your relationship with your body is?
Well, right now my relationship with my body is more a creationship than a relationship, but it wasn't like this before. So until I found the access tools, it was more like no relationship at all. Actually, it was as if I had no connection at all to my body. Or sometimes, of course, I could feel, I could sense. Sometimes my body was joyful. A lot of the time it was like hurting and painful. But I often had the thing going on when I was looking in the mirror, thinking, who the fuck is this? What body is this? And it was more like, well, there is a body and there is me. And yeah, and then sometime I heard somebody say, well, you are not your body. You are an infinite being.
Oh.
And this actually changed everything for me. It was like, oh, what? Really? The first time ever somebody told me this, and I didn't have the feeling I'm crazy.
So when you say infinite being, what does that mean? And body, like those two things. What does that mean?
Good question. What does this mean for you?
Yeah, because maybe there's somebody here that are like, what do you mean infinite being? And because, like, I'm me. there's just me. What are you talking about? Infinite being and a body? And are we separate?
Yes and no. And it's a choice.
Yes.
And probably most of the people would talk about your soul and your body. Just I wouldn't say soul anymore, because there is so much religion and spiritualness attached to it, so much judgment. And infinite being is just more open. It's not made, it can't be made solid anyway. So, and can you describe what your soul is anyway?
Yes. And so I can do that. So your soul is more like everything that you made important, that you brought with you into this body as an infinite being. So an infinite being is just this, it's just an unlimited space of energy. that you can be, and then you have a body. So this is like what you find out, I found out too. It was like, oh, if you take all this energy and you stick it into a body, this is my experience. You stick it inside this tiny little body, and you have like an energy that's like the size of the universe, like a space that's the size of the universe, and you try to stuff it into a tiny little body. This is what gives pain and sickness.
Yes, and sometimes it gets very, very loud.
Very loud. And so my body, I found, so my experience with my body is that, and it took me a long time. I'm like, then I tried again to see if it's true, you know, and try it again. And it's the proving part that I don't really believe the capacity of my body. And so about 7 years ago, my body was dying. I made some choices. I learned so much about actually about bodies. I had been studying bodies for 20 years, first as a nurse, and studying to be a nurse more than 20 years actually. So I studied first to be a nurse, you know, to help people and help bodies, and I got sick from it every time I worked with it. And this was really weird. And then so I stopped doing the nursing because my body got sick all the time, and I thought, okay, nursing doesn't work for me. So I learned another occupation. So I went to school to learn acupuncture so I could still help people and bodies, because people and bodies was still it. But then I changed my lifestyle because everyone else was telling me, but this has to change, and you have to change this to be healthy, and you have to change this and this and this. And one day I was sitting there and I was so sick. My body was going away and nobody could find out what I was sick from. I just looked like an anoretic cancer patient. And they said, you must be insane. And basically that's what they said. Not with words, but they just referred me to get a psychiatry evaluation. And I looked at my husband and I went, what? And he went, what? That's not it. And then somebody said, have you tried the Access Consciousness bars? And we hadn't, so we looked it up and we went to learn how to do it, and I couldn't do anything. I was just this wreck of, I couldn't even think anymore. And then what happened was that he gave me one of these sessions of the bars where you hold 32 points on the head. And it's about letting go of all the electromagnetic imprinting, everything that you took in from the outside, like everything you're aware of, and just emptying, control that delete on your brain, basically, on your mind. And the computer goes like, oh.
What a relief.
Yes, it was. And after he gave me that, I could sit still and actually gift it to him. And we did it again. And when we went home, my shaking had stopped and I could hear the birds sing. And I was like, I realized I hadn't heard the birds sing for years. Because it was so crowded. And this was my body shutting down from points of view that I was picking up from other people. And then I had this little point of view myself that I must listen to what other people think. And I must actually take care of other people. And taking care meant help them. And help them means like when you have to help somebody lift something, do you know what you do? You lift it for them inside your body. And I was treating people, so it was awesome. I was lifting chemo and cancer for cancer patients, and they were feeling much better. And I was feeling like this and stuff like that. But fast forward, this is what happens, I did this, and then I realized that all this stuff I was carrying was not mine, and all these things had sensations I had in my body did not belong to me. I was aware. And my body was just this sensory organ that said, hello, there's something going over here and something there, and this one is thinking, and this one is thinking a lot, and this one, and it's like, alert, alert, alert. And so I was sitting there shaking with anxiety. It looked like anxiety anyway, because what happens when we don't listen to our bodies and communicate with them, that means we don't listen to what it's communicating. It turns it up a lot.
More pain?
More pain or more shutting down. Shutting down is also an option. It just shuts down and makes a sickness so you can't function, can't do your job, can't physically work. And that's what so just before the COVID, actually in October, November, my body started doing weird stuff. And then shutting down. And in December, it was like crashed, could not move, could not walk, could not do anything. And it was processing so much. And it was showing high metabolism and heart rate, and they were not connected. But basically, it was processing so much data. And the day in March that everyone in Denmark was sent home, this was the magic part. They were sent home, had to go home from work. They shut down the country, and many other countries were shut down in that period. But that day, it stopped. Everything just went, woohoo! And I had no sickness symptoms. I could do anything again. Of course, my muscles were weak. I hadn't used them for a long time. So I have to build that up. But everything just could get better. Everybody went home. And that's when I was like, I asked a question. So I know this is what you're good for. But ask a question. So what is this? And I got that, oh, Pia, your body was telling you there's something coming. And it's going to upset a lot of people. It's going to shut a lot of things down. And a lot of bodies are going to be in pain and hurting or even dying. And I'm showing you what's going to be like.
So asking a question actually always will create more.
Yep. It's like you can always ask, what is this? So
and then and then all the tools are showing up. So like, oh no, we won't tell them now.
No, we won't tell them now, because what we would like to invite you to is that Christiane is so much better at asking her body these questions. I'm getting there. And we would like to invite you to it will also be on a Zoom. It's a Zoom class on July 12th at 6:30 Central European Time. And you can come on from anywhere in the world. We will speak English, and if anyone requires German translation, Christiane is also able to do that. So we can offer that. And we'll talk about this, questions and bodies, and what is possible if you're sick, or if you sense a lot of things and uncomfortable in your body, how to change it, switch it, and have ease.
Yes, and we love to have your ask and your questions about that. So.
Yes, and that's the thing with this going on here. No, there is no questions. Cool. No questions today. I was just checking the Facebook chat.
Yeah.
So we will not be. We will be on Zoom, and we will post in the thread here. We will post the event link if you're interested, and you can sign up there. Follow the sign up line, or it's not going to be a line. It's going to be a wave. And we hope to see you there. And we may pop in and talk about bodies other times. Who knows?
Yes, and maybe you will ask your body, what will it create if I join this call? How much ease can we have?
Yes, I'll have it.
Me too.
Thank you for popping in here with me. And thank you to your body for popping up. We made it. And now we know how this works. So thank you everyone who's going to see this, who saw this today. And what does your body know that you're pretending that you don't know how to hear? Play with it. See you.
See you. Bye.
Bye.